Hello there. Hi, my name is Chris Adams, and this is the Chris Adams Presents podcast. I'm super excited about this conversation I had with Catie Buck. She is the founder of Josephine West, which is a Boise-based interior design studio. She's fantastic. She's working with a lot of bigger developers in the area, and she came as a reference or a referral from one of our customers, Lauren MacGyver over at the Gardner Group, and she's been fantastic. And in this, I'm excited about the interview for a couple of things. Number one, based on the nature of what we do, I'm a big culture guy. And when we moved into this office, we picked this office based on the potential it had for us to carry out what our vision and mission statement is for Adams Technology Group. And my conversations with Catie to create this has been really, really powerful. But the interesting thing for me was during the process of working with Catie, I didn't know when I hired her that she was the founder of Josephine West. I thought she was just an employee, a consultant. And when I found out that she was on her own, I found that to be really, really powerful because she's been doing such a great job. So one of the things I gave her as a gift was one of my favorite books, Excellence Wins by Mr. Scholes. And I said, I'm going to buy this for you. You're going to read it, and then we're going to sit down and we're going to have a conversation about it. Little did she know that she was going to be a guest on the podcast, one of our first guests, in a studio that she helped us kind of design. But the other part of the conversation is not only why our culture was important and how she helped us, was just some of the things that she's had in challenges of being, an entrepreneur. And I don't care whether you're a man or a woman, when you decide to put your hat in the ring to be an entrepreneur, there's a lot of risk. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of uncertainty. And I think it's important to understand that. But it's interesting in the conversation because Catie and I kind of talk about that. And a couple of the things that she does from a business standpoint, number one, her feedback loop, which is really powerful. So we talk about that. Number two, what she does to build confidence from a physical standpoint. And the one was really shocking to me. If you know the Boise area, mountain biking is pretty popular. She mountain bikes, downhill mountain bikes. But the other activity was even more shocking to me, and I'm not going to reveal what it is. You can kind of listen to the podcast and see what she says because it was shocking. But I will tell you, the little hint is a little Rocky Balboa. So you can listen to the podcast to get into that. So we talk about her as an entrepreneur. We talk about the book, Excellence Wins. We also had a brief conversation with some stuff in the cleaners from Tim Grover, which is another piece of influence for her to be successful too. So here's my conversation with Catie Buck, interior designer extraordinaire. If you're looking for new space, revive, reload your culture, Catie is a fantastic reference, and I can't recommend her enough. And thank you, Catie, and I appreciate you guys and hope you enjoy the conversation. Thanks. Okay, so when was the last time you were here?
Oh my gosh, like 3 or 4 months ago.
3 months ago?
Yeah.
And what was your initial impression when you walked in?
Today?
Yeah, just walked in. Yeah.
I like all the warmth of the wood, and you got more mood lighting.
We got some mood lighting.
Yeah. I know that you guys are huge into your mood lighting.
Well, a couple things which we talked about in your design, and we'll get to who you are, what you do, and how you do it.
Yeah.
I really wanted your initial reaction because you were really a part of kind of putting this all together, not including the studio, right? I mean, these are your colors. This is kind of how we, kind of got it all framed up.
Yep.
Now, it's a little bit different than the actual design.
Yes.
And how does that make you feel?
It's okay, honestly.
okay.
Yeah, really it is, because like at the end of the day, I really want my client to be happy. But it makes me question, where did I go wrong? So where
Interesting.
did I fail? So I know better for next time.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with failure. What do you think about the cubicles?
I actually think they're cool. Like, are they DIY?
No, but they are custom.
But they do look customed.
Very custom, and
But they look cool.
they are cool, and we got them secondhand.
You did?
We did. So there was one of our customers was downsizing, and they needed to get rid of them. And I had been talking to them and said, "Oh, well." So we helped them move into their current. It's Zenify. We helped them move into their offices at 10 Mile.
What is Zenify again?
They're a SaaS integrator for Salesforce.
Okay.
Yeah, big. Jesse was just on the podcast. They're like, I forget what he talked about, what the name, but they're a top level partner with Salesforce. Like,
are they
legit.
Also, are they part of Capital 11?
No, not part of Capital 11. I don't believe. I don't think Capital 11 has any equity in them.
Okay.
I do know that they just did bring on equity partners, but I'm not sure Travis was a part of that.
Yeah.
Hawks was part of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so when we started helping them onboard or started onboarding with them, Denise, who is the executive assistant to at Zenify, I started to, so those desks are the same desks that Zenify used.
Oh, wow.
So we've kind of been, sitting on their curtails, and Jesse, I knew, said that they were going to be subletting. And so because they needed to downsize, right? Because they got a lot of remote workforce and they don't need all that space. Yeah. So I just sent a note to Jesse and said, listen, can we get, some cubicles?
Yeah.
Anyway, we went back and forth, this and that and whatnot. And so he said, yeah. And I said, perfect. So those cubicles weren't necessarily like part of the design, but they were so cool. And they kind of fit what we wanted to do, which was kind of the open concept of we wanted to have the 4 pods because that's how we're going to grow and do whatever. And then we loved the steel, which we had talked about, and we kind of loved the wood.
I was going to say the wood was the huge thing for me. I know you guys kind of like the homey, cozy thing. Yeah. Hence the accent lighting too, right?
Well, and so really, the guys look at computer screens all day long. Yeah. It's fatigue.
Yes.
Right. And then look at those big booming. If we were to walk over and go turn on the lights, everyone would go blind. Right. They're so bright. Mm-hmm. And so putting in the cubicles allowed us to kill the lights and then put in those accent, everyone's got a lamp, and then we got the core lamps on, each of the end pieces. Yeah. And then we have like warm light.
Yeah. Yes.
And a specific light bulb. The debate.
Is it 2,500?
I don't know what we'd have
Maybe
to go pull
2,000.
one in there. But it's the clear,
the warm white,
and the the Edison bulb and whatnot, which really looks good. And then the way that the light bounces off the the back of the walls, and then each of the guys have task lights on top of the monitor, so it really creates a really private.
It's cozy.
It's cozy is a fantastic word, right?
I
so
like it.
So when you would walk in here, I mean, would you really think that we're a high-tech company?
No. Right? No. I would just feel like you guys are like just chill and want to be cozy at work. I like to be cozy at work.
Well, I mean, and the thing about it is that why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So let me ask you this from a designer standpoint. Do you think that our offices get too stuffy sometimes?
Too stuffy?
It's too stuffy? Like too industrial, too like...
I don't think so. It's just cozy. I would like
No, not here, but in other like organizations where you walk in and it's kind of like if we spend more time in our offices almost than we spend more time in our homes.
Yes, that is true.
So where would you rather spend more time? In your home or in your office?
So that is very debatable because... I'm seeing this trend now.
Okay.
I feel like it's a work in progress in my industry where, there's still a bunch of people working from home and then there's company that are realizing that they need their employees to be at work, and because
so now they're coming back to work.
They are coming back.
Yeah.
Not only are they seeing numbers that declining, like mental health, like went down by 36% by just feeling more secluded, being at home, but also they need that collaboration and that work culture to kind of have that camaraderie. So to make sure that we're all rowing the boat together.
Yeah, no, that's really powerful. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a terrible host. We need to know who you are, what you do, and how you do it.
So
probably need to get that going.
I am Catie Buck. I am the founder and interior designer of Josephine West. I'm yes, very independent interior designer. Whenever I say what I do, they think automatically I'm a decorator and I decorate their home, and I say, wait up, hold on. That's maybe 1% of my job, maybe.
Right.
I actually specialize in commercial spaces, specifically corporate office. I love corporate office, and I work a lot with developers doing tenant improvements for companies. And now I can finally say this is I'm doing D&B supply headquarters right now, and I did Bish's RV and House of Design here locally with another firm that I worked at prior to going on my own. But I just love it. I love meeting other entrepreneurs, especially when it's in local business or a company, and just seeing, I get to witness their growth, and it's so fun, and it's very cool, and hearing their stories. I have such a huge passion for it.
So that was one of the kind of the questions I have here for you is, okay, so talk to us about interior design, right? Like what's good about it? What's bad about it?
Yeah. Oh, thank you for bringing that, because like everybody automatically thinks that I'm just, a luxury service. And, we couldn't be considered a luxury service, but there's also a huge benefit, because one of the huge benefits that we can probably actually save you money, believe it or not, especially when it comes to construction, is because we have knowledge base of thousands and thousands of materials. And, you see the contractor do contractor grade, and it's like, well, okay, well, there's something nicer that costs exactly the same, and it can be more personalized. And we just have that knowledge base. But, the bad thing is some designers, I don't want to say this for all, but there are some designers that have egos, and they're really good at what they do. And, but that's why you go to them, right? Because they're really good. Like I'm thinking of high-end designers that they have an art to their process. And I don't think I have an art, like a style. Maybe some people say I do, but I don't know. I listen to what the client wants. So I don't really tie myself to an actual style. Like, for example, when I say style, like mid-century, for example, or Victorian, I don't know. But modern, traditional. No,
Art Deco.
Art Deco is a really good one. I don't really tie myself to an actual style. I listen to what the client actually wants, and then I take the mood boards and I interpret what they want, and then I'm like, here's this style or here's this style. Do you like them? We can integrate them. But anyways, did I answer that question?
Yeah. The thing for us is when we were introduced to you, right, and you came recommendation, right? You worked with one of our customers, Gardner.
Yep.
We love the Gardner girls over there, right? And awesome. Wally and Weston and those guys. And the thing, like when we first started talking is, and I didn't talk to anyone else. You were the recommendation for me, and that was the person to get that done. And so the thing for me was I kind of knew what I wanted. We fundamentally were moving from and you were at our old space. Holy shit.
My gosh.
And you looked at the shit show that we were going to be trying to move into.
Oh my gosh.
And then you look at this and you're like, how is that even a consideration? Right. And but I wanted. This office is multifaceted for us. One, the most important thing in our organization are not our customers, right?
Yes.
Sorry, Mr. Customers. They're our employees.
Yes.
it's my job to put them into an environment that they're going to be successful.
100%.
And I want them like to be proud of where they work. I want them to be comfortable where they work. I want them, all of these things. So that's why I hired you, right? Because it wasn't so much that I needed the help with the design work. I just needed additional opinions.
Sure. Yeah.
Like someone, outside the box saying, okay, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? And that's what we got. Now let's be honest here. So Bish's RV, they're a little bit bigger than us. D&B, a little bit bigger than us, right? So those are like really big accounts. Was it hard for you to come in and work with such a small company like us?
No, not at all. I take all of my clients, like I do the same exact process. Some are like a little bit more involved because they're bigger, right?
Yep.
Like obviously D&B and Bish's. But what I do is like I listen to the owner, you, and I hear what you do, like what I try to do is I get inside the business culture. Like, what is the culture like? Where do they want to go? Because that affects the design too. And it's really cool how much I feel being a designer, we're a piece of that pie to help make your business better and grow. I feel like we are.
Well, you are, right? So we hired you because, so I kind of had this vision, right? And I shared it with you, and we went through all the, iterations. But this is your design, your paint.
Yes.
The carpet, the choices that we had. I mean, you were kind of on limited, budget.
Yep.
But the fee for us, right, I think was like $3,000. It was $1,500 up front and then $15 upon the balance.
Yep.
Super easy, right? Super easy. And you gave us the designs and said, okay, look about this. And then for us, commercial, I think the big downside, what I didn't realize was how expensive commercial furniture is.
Yes.
And I think you were like prodding me about, okay, how much money do we have to spend on this thing? Because you're probably going to get some sticker shock. And quite frankly, even to this day, I'm just like, holy shit, that's expensive.
Yeah. And, I just had a new lesson. And whenever I work with smaller companies, they really don't get the cost and why it costs so high. And I still really recommend doing the commercial side, because when you're paying for the warranty and God forbid anything were to happen, but if something were to happen, like a fire or something, and your furniture is not commercially rated, your insurance company will probably not cover it, because they are code related, and there are codes in the IBC that you have to meet, even with materials, any material, honestly, that's going into a commercial space, even furniture.
I will be asking my insurance agent whether or not my furniture is covered under our policy. Huh. Well, that's a interesting clip that most people don't understand.
And plus, furniture is an investment. And when I think one of the best things that when I think of commercial is when you're buying such a huge investment, I want you to love it, because if you don't love it, it's going to be expensive. And if you love it, then it's a good investment for yourself and your company.
Yeah, it's like my new truck.
Exactly.
Some of it was expensive.
Yeah.
But I love it.
Yes, because I'm working with a client right now, and it's 6,000 square feet, and the furniture budget came up to $300,000.
Yeah.
And
that's real money.
It's real money. And I warned him, and he was just like, he's like, why are you acting like my wife? And I told him, I was like, I want you to go to the showroom so you can see what you're buying. And he's like, oh, I hate shopping. And honestly, if like the workstation systems, for example, if there's like $20,000 of storage system that you don't need, or your employees don't need, I don't want you to spend that $20,000 if you don't need it. But there is a ton of great value. it's going to last forever for one. And the warranties, you are buying the warranties. Like it's 10 to 12 years on average. And if anything were to happen, it's an easy swap out.
So I think that's another important thing for people to understand is the fact that there are really good warranties behind that commercial furniture.
100%. Way better. I just really recommend it.
Yeah. So the thing for me is, one, we didn't have the budget for the commercial furniture, which is fine. But what you did give us was the master plan.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. And I think for me is, okay, perfect. Because now I have a master plan. Now as we grow and, we get, dollars for the budget and et cetera, then we can start putting these things in place. Case like, the cubicles and, we haven't really done the foyer yet and whatnot. But what you probably don't know is that we went through Adam's Technology Group, who's a parent group. We just went through a completely rebrand.
Again?
Well, Smatotech is already done.
Yep.
The parent company, Adam's Technology Group. So, we just finalized that like a month ago.
Oh, wow.
So we sent it out to 99 Designs, and because it needed to have, kind of a refresh. And so now we're going through and reprinting all of stuff. So I don't know if you noticed that we got the new pillars up.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, fantastic. They look beautiful. And then we got the sign, which is sitting on the pew in the front.
See that.
So that is the new A. And you know
Okay.
what? I apologize. I should have sent you the email on the design feedback.
Yeah.
Because I sent it out to all the staff. Everyone got to participate. So have you used 99 Designs before?
No, I never even heard of them.
Yeah. So we've used them. We use them for Smatotech. We use them for UC Forge, all the design work. So we sent them out, contest. They create a contest, and then they have all these designers that collaborate.
That's cool.
And then you give them the price. So you pay, $500,000, $1,500 based on all these elaborate packages and all the upsell and all the other stuff. But you get some pretty unique designs.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what they came up with.
Yeah.
And then so between the A and then, well, it's right here. That's the A, and then
that's very you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
That's very you guys.
And then we keep it simple with the black and white. So the pillars are up. We got the new sign with the vision statement on, and then we're trying to figure out what we're going to do for the mission statement. But the thing for me is, you gave us a master plan for that, right? The colors and all this other stuff, and then we just get to build into that as we get the cash. And I think that's important for other small businesses to understand, is that sometimes in your organization you have to have the master plan.
Oh, 100%.
And your culture, right, is part of the environment and the interior design.
I also look at it too, if you're any business owner too, is I always like to say you're making an investment for your employees if you bring in a designer, because you can shape a space to create culture, like whether it be games or like the bourbon or the coffee station. Like,
that's right.
What can you do to kind of implement that to kind of create more culture? But not only creating culture, but also making it enjoyable for your employees. So I also try to make my clients think that way too, and be like, oh yeah, I should invest a little bit more money in this area. I always try to be strategic and conservative everywhere else, so we can implement those dollars elsewhere.
So it's interesting. So this was the easy part, right, in the design, right?
Yeah.
The bourbon and the stand and whatnot. And I think we had a cart in the original one, but the cart was too big. But the coffee bar, is coming. But the coffee machine it's expensive, and we just haven't put it in the budget yet, partly because we continue to grow and we have to make decisions on, are we going to be, putting that towards, human, capital, or are we going to put it in there? And that just becomes kind of a balance. But the design is already there. The coffee bar is happening.
Yes.
We will be serving up the best
and that's
coffee
part of your
in town.
That's part of your culture.
Yeah. Yeah. Right now we serve shitty coffee. I've got. Let me just talk about, because I sent this to Parrish today. How is over the last year? and this is opening Pandora's box, but I think it's a great subject as we transition into the gift that I give you. Ben, how's your experience been at the coffee shops for the last year?
The coffee shop?
Coffee shops, like Human Bean, Black City,
Rock?
Black Rock. They just
Yeah.
opened up another one.
Yeah.
Lucky Perk, et cetera, et cetera. Right. Take me through like
Okay.
your experiences. Do you have a loyalty to any coffee shop?
Yes.
Which one?
Right now it's Bond and Bevel.
Okay, I don't even know where that's at.
I did.
I gotta write that down.
I brought you beans.
You did?
Yeah.
If you're not bringing me bourbon, bring me beans.
I did bring you coffee beans. They're actually in Caldwell, and
Okay.
their beans are very, very good, and they take their craftsmanship very seriously.
Okay.
And they got featured in Entrepreneur magazine or something.
What's the name of him again?
Bond and Bevel.
Bond.
Yep.
And?
Bevel.
BEV.
EL. Yeah.
Oh, well, we got to check them out on
You
Instagram.
need to check them out. It's pretty. I buy their beans only. It's kind of chocolatey, nutty.
Okay.
Are
they roasting them themselves?
I think they told me they have they go through a rep that they get it from
Roasted?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Oregon or something. But they take their equipment serious, and yeah, I just highly recommend them. I was kind of before them. Used to be into Dutch Bros and Starbucks, but they went kind of downhill in my book.
Okay, why did it go downhill? Let's get into this. Because I sent Paris a text today in the window going through my experience about how terrible this is.
Yeah, well, okay, so I do more of a keto diet.
Okay,
and
fair
so
enough.
they got rid of heavy whipping cream at
Okay.
Dutch Bros. So I'm like, well, and now I can't find anything I like anymore.
So Dutch Bros is not keto friendly.
No.
Okay.
It used to be. Starbucks, are you sure you want me to open this can of worms?
Yeah, I mean Starbucks. It's a big corporation.
Yeah.
If you're in desperate need of coffee,
Yeah.
and I have to choose between Starbucks and McDonald's,
Oh, I would definitely do Starbucks.
yeah, I could go either way. I prefer the cheaper coffee.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a coffee snob, but I'm not. I drink McDonald's coffee just as well.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
I
even
can't.
when up on the mountain, so I'm notorious. I carry my own
Oh my gosh.
jet boil.
Oh.
And I carry a Starbucks Vias. Right, the
Okay.
instant coffee. I'm always making coffee up on the mountain.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I pack that thing extra weight around. Carry the water. Sometimes I'll throw in a Swiss Miss so I can have a mocha, mountain mocha. Yeah.
That's what my husband and I bought a camp trailer, and the tea kettles that so I made sure I ground it up. I love fresh ground coffee too,
Yep,
like the
okay.
beans.
Mm-hmm.
So I did Bond and Bevel's beans and put some fresh ground coffee on me. I'll take that. Or I love supporting local. I think
Yep.
it's huge importance, but trying whatever local coffee shops too. Some of them are hit and miss.
What about so the experience? Do you think that the coffee shops like Dutch Bros, right? So they made a fundamental change. They got rid of heavy whipped cream, which obviously takes the keto guys out.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yep.
Starbucks. Is interesting for me with Starbucks is the fact that it's the whole tipping thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The whole tipping thing is.
It drives me
Is
nuts.
it pro customer or pro coffee shop?
Pro coffee shop.
Pro
for
coffee
sure.
shop has nothing to do with the customer.
No.
So I was at the Human Bean, and I went in before the interview to get a coffee, and then I picked up some stuff for the guys, and so I know it's coming,
Yeah.
right? You know it's coming, right? And it's the total bullshit thing. All right, they give you the reader.
The option.
They just
Yeah.
hand it to you now,
Yeah.
right? Because you're trying to think about the whole process. I've got my card. I just want to hand you the card, pay for the transaction,
Yeah.
be gone.
Yeah.
No, they give you the reader. You got to put the card in, right? So that's you trying to get it out through the seatbelt, right? So
Yeah.
that's clunky monkey.
Yeah.
And then they say, oh, okay, it's just going to ask you a few more questions. Okay, what's the first question? First question is, do you want, what's going to be the tip amount?
Yeah.
Okay, the interesting thing for me is the fact that the first option is not no tip. Right? The first option is like 20%. So on a $10 coffee, I'm paying, $2.
Yeah.
Well, that's not happening.
No.
So I'm getting better. I'm always hitting custom, and then I always round up to the dollar.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And then I'm trying to push the buttons. I got to push the buttons left-handed because it's on the left-hand side of the thing. Trying to get over to the right. I'm just like going through this whole thing. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
This is so painful.
It is very painful. It's nothing to do with the customer.
No.
Right. And it's just like, does the barista really want to be saying that? I'm like,
probably not.
And then so the other thing is about the tips. I was at Five Guys, and it's the same thing. And Five Guys is getting expensive. And I said, okay, does this tip go to you? And the counter help said, no, it goes into a pool, and then we divide it amongst everyone else.
I don't agree with that.
So I'm like, okay, so what am I paying for?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, so I think the whole tipping thing is really, it's become a thing. Mm-hmm. But that whole experience for the coffee shop, they're just, I would revamp that.
I would totally.
So with Starbucks, they didn't ever ask for that. Mm-mm. Now they are asking for it. And I think, that's kind of crazy. Now, I have heard, interestingly enough, that those Clover systems and the Square system, the POS, type systems, because they were expensive to put in, that's what they were sold, was the fact that they would increase revenue based on tips to help offset for the costs of, some of the other things.
Oh, interesting.
And so both of them have failed, because that's just not, in my opinion, kind of customer centric.
No, it's not.
Anyway, so I had a bad experience today. So I'm not really loyal to Human Bean. I'm not loyal to most other ones. Mm-hmm. I do get my beans from what used to be Awakenings, but now it's the Alchemist.
Oh, yeah.
Which is right there on 5 Mile.
Yeah, they're really good.
They're good.
I like them.
But they're changing hands so often.
Oh,
every time I go in there, there's someone different. And when I was in there to be honest, when I was in there when they were Awakenings, they all knew my name. And
now they don't?
Well, yeah. I mean,
they're like,
turnover.
Hey, that guy?
Yeah.
There's that guy again.
They changed some stuff around, but the thing for me with loyalty is, trust. Mm-hmm. And it's like, do they really care about me? Do they know my name? Do they know who I am? Et cetera. Which reminds me, have you read this book? Tim Grover's Relentless.
Love Tim Grover.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Relentless is good.
Relentless is good. This is a quote that he has in here on page 21. And it's talking about what the cleaners are.
Yes.
Okay. And he's talking about this waiter waitresses. The cleaners are the most driven individuals you'll ever know, with an unmatched genius for what they do. They don't just perform a job, they reinvent it. Mm-hmm. I own this. I'm talking about the waiter who knows what every one of his customers drinks and how they order their steaks. Everyone in town wants to sit at his tables, and they all leave huge tips because they appreciate the excellence.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that we see that very
anymore.
often.
No,
I think that's a shame. So we're going to talk about how you and Josephine West,
yes.
I want to know how you came up with the name, and then why I didn't know that you were out on your own. And when I found out that you went on your own, I gave you a gift.
Yes. Yeah.
And that gift is one of my favorite books by Horst Schultz, Excellence Wins.
Yes.
And if you're going to be a fan of the podcast, we're going to be talking about this book a lot, because we definitely wouldn't be sitting in this room had I not read this book. And this was a gift to me from my great friend, John Wardle, who is the president of development at Brighton Corporation.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Small world.
Oh, it is crazy small world. Right. So how did you well, let's talk about why you left. Talk to me about why you decided to be Create.
On my own.
Go on your own. Become an entrepreneur. Take all that risk. All the stress.
Yeah, right. Well, nothing against the firm that I worked at before. I really loved where I worked. I just kind of felt like I reached a ceiling, and I was ready to. Something has been brewing for me like 2 or 3 years prior to me leaving. Like, I really was ready for a big change. What was brewing? I kind of like I've been doing this self journey of I just really truly believe I'm meant for something bigger, and I couldn't figure it out, and I almost actually changed my career. I got offered. I would still be in the industry, but I would just sit at a different seat at the table. Like, I almost went into construction. I got offers from ESI, from Leighton Company, and I wanted it, and they were great paying jobs. My pay went really high.
Yep.
And I turned it down, and I was just like, I don't think this is it. I really want to, but I just don't think this is it. So a developer, I'm not going to name who the developer was. They sought after me, and they really wanted me to come work for them, to be their designer, their in-house designer. And the guy rubbed me the wrong way, and he essentially cornered me to say, yes, take the job. And I basically said yes, and I left the building crying. I knew it wasn't the right one. I was like, this is still not the right one.
Bullied into a job.
Literally I've never had that experience before. And I had a coffee with a friend, and she's like, Catie, I know you've kind of dabbled the thought of just going on your own. Maybe this is your time. And I was like, you know what? I think you're right. So,
gave him 2 weeks and
no, I gave my previous employer like 2 or 3 months because I was, I take really good, not only do I take my job seriously, I want to make sure my client is happy. So
so you had clients in the pipeline that you had to see through.
I wanted to make sure I finished for them, and, not only finish for them, but also help the team. Cause I still really love that team, the firm before that. It was great. It's just, I think it was just, I really hit a ceiling, and I was ready for something bigger and something more challenging.
What was the conversation like when you told them that you were going to go out on your own?
Most of it was positive. One person was, I felt like he was just really disappointed. I kind of feel like he knew that he was like something great was leaving. And then there was another one that he means a lot to me, and he mentored me, and I almost cried telling him because he was such a great mentor. But I would say most of it was really positive, and they were like, man, you got balls to do this. But I'm like, I'm realizing that, yeah, it's hard to wear all the hats, but yeah, I would say most of it was all positive.
So you had the conversation. How'd you come up with the name?
So the name is kind of a...
Oh, don't tell me this is some sort of ad lib.
Kind of.
It's like creating your porn star name, right?
Yeah,
so it's going to be the street you live on and the name of your dog or whatever.
So, my first employer, I worked at an interior design firm. And I asked her that same question, and she's like, well, the thing that your porn star name is your first name of your pet in the street. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, but actually their firm name is your middle name in the street you grew up on. I was like, oh, mine would be Josephine West.
Oh.
I was like, that actually sounds bougie. And I've had like a lot of great compliments. Like, they like my name, and it's kind of symbolic too, because was born and raised in Michigan, and I now set out my independence out west, and that's kind of symbolic. So there's like a double meaning to the name.
Well, it is a good name.
Yeah,
right.
Thank you.
Why not Catie Buck? Why not Catie Buck in the name?
No, Catie Buck. I love my husband. Don't get me wrong, but I could just see so many things go wrong with that. But no, it just doesn't sound bougie enough. I want.
When you mean bougie, what do you mean?
Like, I don't want to be like. I don't want to be. I feel like Catie Buck is a settling name. Like I wanted something that kind of shows strong like value, maybe boutique-ish, maybe custom. And Josephine West just kind of brings that little oomph to the interior design, because I feel like one thing I've realized being on my own, I'm more unique than most independent designers, because most independent designers are residential and I'm more focused on the commercial side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you got a name.
Yes.
Okay, what was the next thing? What was the next big hurdle?
The next big hurdle is finding my own clients. I mean, granted, I already had a good reputation with some of the big players. I think they're big players here in the industry, but I wanted to respect my previous.
Now, did you have an agreement in place that you had to respect that, or did you just do it based on strength? Yeah, see, that shit is. We just don't have that anymore either, right? We have fucking attorneys that have to drop non-competes and NDAs and all this other stuff, right?
And I was petrified because, like, I have an architect that I work with and another GC. They went on their own, and then they got attacked by lawyers and for
stealing clients,
supposedly stealing clients, but the clients followed them. I think that's a different story. And I was like, crap, is that going to happen to me? But I literally feel like I paved my own way, and just trying to be respectful, and I just had this confidence and went for it. I mean, it's still scary, but because being an independent business owner, you feel like you're in the middle of the arena and you're being exposed for everything. And it's very scary, but I love being challenged mentally and physically. I'm realized too, like 2 years ago, I'm not a settler. If I settle, you're not growing. Yeah.
Where do you think you get that confidence from?
I had to work it. I think where I got it from when I did the, epiphany of kind of growing, doing this, how I was telling you this thing has been growing, like I'm meant for something bigger. And I went and I got into boxing and not like the fun fitness, like legitimately learn how to fight, taking punches in the face. And then I got into mountain biking, and with those sports, I realized that you are always being pushed out of your comfort zone, and you're just always, again, feeling vulnerable. If you take your eyes off, like for mountain biking, if you're not physically present and being mindful, you can wipe out and really get hurt. And if you really want to become great at it, you have to face challenges and obstacles. And same with boxing, like you're just always being challenged. You can't keep this exposed, like having this revealed. Otherwise, you're going to get socked in the face, and it's not fun.
Yeah, right. Well, it's punishing, and it's physical.
Oh, it's so physical, but I love it at the same time.
Well, and I think the interesting thing for me is the fact that one of my key words for 2023 has been strength.
Yeah.
And physical strength, right? And getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And I would say I'm a pretty confident guy.
Yeah.
I was an athlete growing up, and still, I wouldn't say I compete, but I compete every day, but not like that from a sports standpoint. But what I've learned in the last 9 months of just like lifting, like really lifting, is something that I had not really experienced, because even when I was in high school and college competing, I never spent a lot of time in the gym. I never lifted weights. I never had to. I was doing so many other different things that I was still, fit and strong, whatever. But there's something to be said about a direct connection between physical activity and pain and recovery and struggle to the mental sides of all that.
100%. Yep.
And I've just really been kind of going through that. There's I don't have it in here. There's another book author that I'm going to try to get in here, Dr. Roger Hale. And I forget the name of the book, but he talks about the importance of strength.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to get to the gym. I've been to Pivot, personal trainers, and all this other stuff. And just trying to work through that has been such an interesting part of self-introspection.
Yeah.
That there's just kind of a newfound level of confidence, because you're right. I mean, when you step out into the ring, as you are doing right now, it's you. Right? And either you're going to embrace that and you're going to take it on head on, or it is going to punch you directly in the face, or you're going to go end over heels on the mountain bike.
Well, the other thing too with boxing is like, in business, I feel like you get punched in the face all the time. I really do.
That's a great line. That's going to be a great clip. Mark that on the video.
But like
coming from a boxer, a female boxer.
But you realize like, it sucks, but it's not that bad. Just keep going. You just have to keep going. And the other thing too that I loved, especially with boxing teaches me in mountain biking, and especially, I'm on the fitness thing too, is what else you learn is discipline. And, and I feel like if you don't have discipline as a skill, good luck.
Yeah.
Like discipline, everybody talks about motivation. Motivation's nothing.
Well, it comes and goes.
It comes and goes.
Yeah.
It's discipline that's going to carry you.
It's the mental side of it, about how to say yes when everyone wants to
say no. Yeah. And the other thing is too, is like when it always sucks, but you might be this close to your goal. And if you just keep working your discipline, just keep showing up, and you're like, holy crap. One of the best stories I heard was like a class said, okay, I have a test, but if it's going to be really hard, but you can walk out and I'll give you at least a passing grade of a C. And like probably 90% of the students walked out and said, hey, I'll take the C. That's effortless. And then, as a few minutes went by, she's like basically telling her students, you just, if you toughed it out, and because you just took a risk, I'm giving you guys an A. I don't know. It's kind of like one of those things. If you just wait it out a little bit longer, and it might not be as bad as you thought it would be.
Well, it's the only place that growth takes place.
Oh, it's in that thing. And it's hard to, fear. I still have a bunch of fear being a business owner. And,
I think
that's another one I'm trying to get over.
Well, the thing that people say, be fearless. Are you fucking kidding me?
That's hard to be
But the problem is that fear is one of the most natural emotions that you have.
Yeah.
Now, the thing about it is that you can't let fear control you. I think that's the biggest thing. But you should be able to understand it.
Yes. And I know you're a person of faith too, but it says in the Bible all the time, do not fear. Do not fear.
Yeah.
So, but it is one of the hardest ones to walk over, that hurdle. But that's where the other side of growth is too.
Well, and then the other thing is, fear, in the Bible, not necessarily defined of, fear that I'm going to, fall off the cliff.
Yeah.
Right. The fear in the Bible relation is about going to hell.
Yeah.
Those are kind of two different things.
Oh, sure.
Right? Fear of failure, whatever. But the problem is that today in society that we've got all these marketing people out there that have
they teach you to
fear and all this other stuff. It's not fear.
No.
Right. Be fearless. That whoever came up with that and whoever has that on their t-shirts needs to take it off. It's not fearless.
No.
Okay, so a couple things. One, I think it's really cool. Catie Buck knows how to take a punch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally.
Oh gosh, it sucks.
Oh, it does suck. There's another great line that we got to get in there.
It's funny too, because I was kind of learning how to do defense with another partner, and of course, 9 times out of 10 they're guys. And I had myself open, and he literally socked me in the nose, and he felt so bad.
Right.
I'm like, dude, isn't that the point of boxing? Like,
what's your husband think about this?
He doesn't like me. He doesn't like to watch it. I remember the first time.
Yeah, he doesn't want his wife showing up to church with a broken nose and a black eye.
My father-in-law tells me, he's like, you don't need to be doing that. But I'm like, no, I love it. It takes.
No, you don't understand. I need to be doing it.
I literally need it for my mental, and honestly to keep pushing yourself. It's not bad. I hear like 9 times out of 10, it's probably not as bad as you mentally think of it. So that's kind of try to use it as a reminder for myself too.
Well, one of the struggles that I'm going with right now is taking the game up to the next one. So I've got some buddies that do jiu-jitsu.
Oh yeah. Did you go to the Northwest Challenge over the weekend?
No.
Okay.
No, I was up hunting. I was on my dirt bike.
You went hunting on your dirt. How are you going to put an animal on there?
Well, we packed a bear out on the back of the bike slash.
did?
Yeah, that's him right there.
Oh my gosh.
And I have not done that yet because of the fear of getting my ass kicked.
Oh my gosh. No, you just need to do it. You got to start somewhere.
I understand that, but you know I think it's going to be the next part of my physical, maturation, in the challenges. And one of these things I keep writing down is the fact that you really got to be doing something every day that's going to kick your ass.
Oh, yeah.
Because the humility, right, and the humbleness and the struggle and all of those things needs to be part of, your process, right? And I just haven't done that yet. So I got a couple of guys. My son, Zach, is a blue belt in jiu-jitsu.
Wow, that's pretty good. Where does he practice?
He's at the pad. No, what is the name of
base?
it? The base. He's at the base.
Okay. The base is a good one.
The base is a good one. I've been looking at the Rhino.
Team Rhino, that's where my husband goes.
Oh, it is? Oh,
yeah.
Boy. So I've been looking at that one, and I heard that the owner just passed away.
Yes.
Tragic.
Very tragically. Such a great guy. He was doing Pedro's kind of seminars in Brazil, and he had a widowmaker heart attack, and his wife was down there too.
And he was in Brazil, right?
In Brazil. Yeah.
So there's that one, and then there's the Gracie Barra series stuff. There's one in Cuna, which I'm kind of partial to because it's a little bit closer. But anyway, I'm still, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, it's a struggle.
It is a struggle.
And, but I think, kind of the thing for me is the fact that because it's such a struggle, I know exactly where I need to go. And so I'm working kind of through that. But if you can box, I can sure as hell roll around with some guys on jiu-jitsu. Okay. I did boxing, all these great moments with all this stuff, business. Okay. So you're on your own, you got your name. And so I didn't know that you were on your own because based on the name.
Yeah.
Now, did you not purposely tell me that you were on your own? I'm trying to remember who did I get the recommendation from Tracy?
Yes.
Or did I get it from? I think I asked both, and I think Tracy was the one that sent me the two people, and then when I saw that you had done the Gardner stuff, I selected you, and I didn't even look at the other one. But did you purposely not tell me that you were on your own?
I just honestly I assumed
that I knew.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Why would you?
Did. Why that?
I don't know.
She told me?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I thought everybody knew who I was.
Oh, shit. Okay. Bam, 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 bam. Now you're throwing uppercuts.
Yeah, uppercuts.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. So I have a lot of empathy for people who try to go out on their own because of the struggles that I went through. I don't know if you know this, but I went through a bankruptcy. 2008. Got pinched, and we had a lot of exposure out there and a lot of fiber and on the internet and whatnot. And that was probably one of the hardest parts of my journey as an entrepreneur.
Oh yeah, I bet.
But going through all that, all the cash flow and everything that I learned, we definitely would not be here if I had not gone through that experience.
Yep.
And so when I hear about people, going out on their own and taking risks, I want to do everything I can to help them. Right. So when I found out that you were on your own, I was like, holy shit, what can I do to help Catie Buck out there go out and conquer the world? But before I get to that, I had one last question that just came back to me.
Okay.
When did you start boxing and when did you start mountain biking? Was it before you went on your own? Oh shit! So it really did build the confidence for you to say.
I think that's what really, literally gave me that confidence. 100%. If I wasn't doing that, I don't think I would be petrified.
What kind of mountain bike you ride?
I love on all trails, but I have a Giulietta Juliana.
All trails bike.
All trails. Yeah.
Wow. And how many times you mountain bike this year?
This year I didn't get to go as much.
Yeah, because you're too fucking busy with work.
It is hard. It is hard. But honestly, I don't know if you've had this experience, but I think bike riding is a great business development activity. Yes. Because Weston from Gardner.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yeah, I just ran into him and his daughter on the Greenbelt.
Oh, you did?
Stonehill was doing their baptisms down at I forget the name of it. It's terrible. Anyway, Weston and his daughter were riding by, and I chit-chat.
Really?
We had like 90 baptisms or something that day.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah, Reed Park, down by Bardenay, down on Eagle.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, over there. You guys baptized over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Twice a year they try to do river baptism.
That's so cool.
There. Anyway, so Weston was on his mountain bike. Yep.
Yeah. So we went and rode from the top of Bogus all the way to Zion's
Oh,
Bay.
you told me that.
Yeah. I was a cursor and I felt so bad. But luckily he laughed it off and just let me curse away when I was trying to keep up with them.
Now, does Weston's wife ride?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was. So how did you start boxing, and who was the mentor that helped you just decide?
Get into.
Yeah.
I think honestly, I think I was just like I was saying,
ready to do something different.
Yeah, I've always wanted to get into boxing. I'm like, you know what? I just need to just do it. I'm just settled. Like I'm realizing I'm just settling. I just need to do it. Get committed.
And you went home, had a conversation with husband. Hey, honey, I'm going to start boxing tomorrow.
Yeah, he was proud of me. He's actually encouraging me to go. And he tried it. The guy, his name is Jesse at SBG. And they're great organization too, downtown Boise.
We'll give Jesse an SBG.
SBG, yeah.
SBG some love,
yep. And he was trying to talk me into Muay Thai. And I was like, no, I really just want to do boxing. Yeah. No. And
so you got your own gloves.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
How often do you box? Are you boxing more regular than you are mountain biking?
Yes. I try to do it on average 3 times a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a little easier to get into the schedule.
Yes.
Versus mountain biking is a whole damn event.
Yeah. I'm too scared to ride at night. So, I can go box at 6 a.m. No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're a boxer, you're a mountain biker. Now you're an entrepreneur on your own. And when I found out, I was like, okay, what could I do to help, Catie Buck out and be successful? Mm-hmm. And the first thing that came to mind was I'm a big reader.
Yeah.
And so I said, I'm going to buy you the book,
Yeah.
Excellence Wins
Yes.
by Horst Schultz. And when you read it, we're going to come on to the podcast and we're going to talk about it.
I didn't know about the podcast part.
Oh.
I thought we were just going to do coffee.
This is coffee. I'm drinking coffee, but sorry, you're not. That was probably rude of me. You know what, Parrish? We're going to send notes out and ask him what kind of coffee. Well, when we get the coffee bar, we're going to have fantastic.
Bond and Bevel.
Yeah, we're going to have fantastic stuff there. So what was your first reaction or kind of initial thoughts about the book Excellence Wins?
I loved it because, one, not to brag about myself, but I feel like I have a very strong foundation of customer service. And his but he does it a little bit more to the level I want to get to. And I feel like I do a good job of trying to make sure my clients feel special. I try to. And I'm always trying to find ways to improve on it, because at the end of the day, what means the most to me is that my clients are happy and I did exactly what they wanted. And they get excited when they come to work.
Okay, so we're on a scale of 1 to 10, right? And this is not a test.
Okay.
Right? I know you were nervous about the test, but I think it just goes into, just where is the level of customer service that Josephine West is providing right now, and where do you want to be, and kind of what are the steps you think that you're going to do to, what you need to take to get there?
So, and that's a very good question.
That's what I love. I love asking very good questions.
The one thing too that I liked reading is like when a person hears their name, it's just kind of like
Oh, shit. Unbelievable, isn't it?
It feels nice, like especially when you're still new to that person and they remember your name. And I am really bad at remembering names. And so my business coach, she's telling me of tricks I can do to try to remember people's
What are the
names.
tricks? Give me the tricks, because I'm bad too.
Especially when you first meet them, and like always like say, you know what, Chris, it was so great to meet you today. Let's try to do something again here soon. Let's keep in touch. You repeat their name.
Right. What about first names and last names? What about Mr. Adams, Mrs. Buck? You think that's lost its
Totally.
its power, right?
I think so. And I think it needs to be brought back. I might be.
So that's what I was what I was saying, right? It needs to be brought back, right?
That's a good idea. Maybe I can add that to my.
Well, I'm telling you what, like, you want to win me over? Call me Mr. Adams. Seriously.
You what?
Call me Mr. Adams.
Mr. Adams.
Yeah.
But
Doris always makes fun of me because when I introduce myself, I always say Chris Adams. I never just say, hi, I'm Chris.
Oh, really? Why do you do that?
Because my name is Chris Adams. My surname is Adams.
Yes.
That's the family name.
Yes.
Right? The family name is what we are and what we do.
Do you think people will be offended if you call them like Mrs. I don't know, Adams, Mrs. Buck, Miss Buck?
I think if they become offended is the fact that I just don't think they understand the magnitude of what their name is and who they are.
Mm.
Right. And so not to get into the thing, but, Parrish is actually privy to this because he does them for me. I create posters for my boys.
Mm-hmm.
And I take pictures of them and an activity that we're doing, whatever. And then I put a quote that's relevant to, whatever it is or something that I want them to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put them on these, how big are those? Like, 24 inches by 36 inches poster. I have one in my office for Trey with a fantastic quote from Alexander the Great. But those images, right, of them is the fact that this is who I am,
mm-hmm.
right, and building that confidence and that imagery, right, because I grew up with pictures of Michael Jordan and, bikini photo, posters and all that, some of that other
Laying
stuff.
that out there.
But one of the things that I went through my business coaching was the fact that there was always a poster that I saw when I was in grade school down at Joplin Elementary, which is just down on 5 Mile and DeMeyer.
Yep.
And I used to see it every day in the lunch line. It says, if you can't beat the person in front of you, make them break the record.
Oh, gosh, that's really good. Over
and over and over again. And so the thing for me is the fact that I tried to instill that in the fact that I don't want my boys to have pictures of Michael Jordan. Not saying that Michael Jordan's not, but is it more powerful than to see themselves with great quotes in these really cool images? Mm-hmm. We've got this picture that we've done like 3 years in a row of them at Redfish on their stand-up paddleboards.
Oh, cool.
Each of them with different quotes, and Brecken's on his dirt bike and Trey's skiing, and I'm trying to get a good one of Breck right now, but we're uncooperating because I'm not a very good photographer. But these are kind of the same pictures.
That's so cool. You take these?
I took these, yeah.
Dang, I didn't know you were a photographer.
I'm not, but I try to be. I sent them to Parrish, and Parrish says, "Oh, that's really good, so we can use that."
Yeah.
But there's 3 photos. Oh, these ones right here.
Yeah, they're very good.
These are the ones I took of the last trip to Stanley.
You're not a photographer?
No. This is just me and my iPhone, people.
Oh my God. What?
Yeah.
Oh, that is really pretty.
So these have been blown up and put my
these
Adam's
all came from iPhones? Your iPhone?
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, so I'm trying to upgrade to a newer camera so I can take a little bit better photos. But I had these blown up. They're actually in the conference room, and you're going to get to see them when we get done
here. Oh, yeah. Dang, those are good.
But anyway, the thing for me is the name, right? Adams, right? Buck. And it's probably a little bit different for a girl, but I want my boys to be, this is what the Adams name means. What does the Adams name mean? And I think, for a long time, you had these coat of arms, right? So that's what the Adams badge is right there. So that's it's in the bottom right-hand side. It's in black. And it's white over there.
Okay.
Right. So those are, what the Adams name is, for us. It took me a long time to find that.
Are
but
you
it's kind of our stamp.
Scottish?
Yeah, Irish.
You're
Mick
Irish.
Adams.
Okay.
So when we came over, they dropped the Mick
And just call it
because
Adams.
of,
Oh, yeah. History.
Yeah, exactly. So the last name is important. So I think Mr. Adams, Mrs. Buck, I think some of that stuff needs to be coming back. And I don't think it's insulting. I think it's insulting. People say, please don't call me, no, you can call me Mr. Adams.
Yeah.
So when, kids come over and they introduce themselves, they say, this is my dad. Chris, no, it's Mr. Adams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
that's how I was raised.
That's how I was raised too. I don't know why we have, teachers going by first name.
I would never. I think
that's
that's
kinda
wrong.
weird.
That is weird.
Okay, so customer service.
Yes.
So Josephine West is here, and you want to get here. What was it in the book that you really said, "Oh shit, I got to do this," and then have you done it yet? You can open up.
I was
going
gonna say, can I cheat? No,
Dude,
I did.
Look at all the notes I have in this thing.
I have highlighted a bunch of stuff.
Oh, let's just go through the highlights. What do you got there?
I think the one, there was one. Oh gosh, we're gonna have to keep talking about something else while we find it. But it was basically saying that respect your being respectful to the client and respect yourself goes a long way. It was something like that. Oh gosh, now see, I'm getting tested.
I love the highlights. Just read. What do you got highlighted right there? What page is that on?
Not everything runs smoothly in all workplaces. That much we know. When there's a problem, the important thing is to track down the cause of each and every customer service deficiency, and then remedy it. And I think that's really important too, because one thing I love about my job is not every job is the same. There's always new, unique problems, and I want to make sure I don't repeat them. And I always talk to my developer clients, hey, was there anything I could be doing better that you would like to me? So anyways, I always try to make a tally because I always feel like if you don't let me know, I can't improve. And I probably don't even know I'm doing it.
Right. Well, there are two things that I appreciated about you when we wrapped up our contract. You know what those two things were? What are the two things that you did? Well,
one thing that I'm trying to implement is getting feedback from my client. And
what did you do? What was that apparatus?
I never received it.
Well, I know you haven't received it because I haven't filled it out. But what did you send me?
I sent you a questionnaire.
Right,
did I
feedback.
meet your expectations? Right. And if not, what could I have done better to benefit this? And would you recommend me, or who would you recommend me? So I think the best growth is organic growth, and especially by word of mouth.
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't fill that out because I wanted to have the conversation, here.
Okay.
Better.
Oh, this is awkward.
Okay. No. And then what was the other thing that you did?
I sent you a thank you card, a handwritten thank you card with the Bond and Bevel coffee beans.
Yes.
Because when I get to know my clients, I try to keep a tally of, they like this. Okay. I could give them that as a thank you gift.
Yep.
So try to think of that so it's more personal, and just to let them know I'm I do hear them. Because that was the other thing I've noticed too is people just want to be heard, especially if there was a problem.
Yeah, and taking ownership of the problem.
Yes.
Right? And the thing about it is the problem is the problem.
Yes.
What becomes the problem is when the problem isn't acknowledged.
Yep.
And the other person doesn't feel like it was taken care of.
Yeah. And the clients always want to feel like they're being taken care of. They're investing in you. You need to make that effort.
Well, and I think, let's be honest, in my industry, people can go get IT services anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You want to have fun? Google IT services and see how many people pop up.
It's a lot.
There's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of competition. And so the only thing that separates us in the marketplace is our customer service.
Yeah.
Right? That's it.
It's huge.
And people can do the same thing, right? They can Google, right, interior design. Mm-hmm. But what is more powerful is when I say, hey, listen, so-and-so, Mr. Developer, or so-and-so, Mr. Contractor, who do you recommend for, or Mr. Customer, I love who did, your interior design. Who did, you got to be using their bar down, right? Those are the things that you can't go. Sure, you could go try to, just like what we did. We spent thousands of dollars of trying to, generate leads through Google clicks and, all this other happy horse shit. And that's just, that's not what we do.
No.
Right. And we're okay with slow organic growth. I get email after email about people talking about how to make me grow my company faster.
Oh, I get those too. It drives me nuts.
And I'm just like, listen, if you think that that's what I'm about, then you've already lost the mark, because that's not what I'm about, right? What I'm about is our mission statement. We keep our customers' computers and internet running fast and secure.
Yep.
That's the mission statement. And over and over. And we know that if we do that right, then everything else just kind of falls into place.
Yes.
Okay, so customer service pinnacle, you already have a natural, akin to already providing that. What else in the book did you like? What were the other takeaways? What other highlights? Give me the highlights.
Oh, there's so many highlights.
So many highlights. That was a good book. It was a good recommend.
One of the things that I really loved is that no matter what your position is really be proud about it. And I think we're really missing that in society. Like, sometimes you just have to, everybody needs to start at the bottom. If you don't start at the bottom, that's your foundation.
Yeah.
And then work your way up. And he's saying, to me, I kind of took it as just be really proud of it, put ownership, be proud of it. And then if you see something that needs to be done and you can do it, just take ownership. But I also think not only that, but what really comes from, I think, is the leader of the company is you need to really be shown as that example, is what I'm realizing. Is if you want it done well and you want it done right, you better do it and be very, I don't want to say very obvious, but, be the example.
Yeah. I mean, all that stuff, customer service is top down.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you treat people badly, you're going to be terrible at customer. Your company's not going to have customer service.
Yeah. Well, that too, and it doesn't matter who that person is on the team, because I cross paths of all sorts of people in my industry, whether it be janitors, cleaners, subcontractors, GCs, and then the stakeholders and the owners. I always make sure I treat everybody the same.
Yeah.
You should always do that.
Yeah, as a human.
As a human.
Right.
Yeah, and plus some people don't even say, hey, I'm a janitor, but who cares?
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot of pride to be done with that, right? I mean, look at our guys, right? One of the stigmatisms, I shouldn't say stigmatisms maybe, is you hear this tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 support.
Okay, yeah.
Right? And we don't have that here. Right?
Yeah.
We're all providing the same level of support. Now, do we have an escalation path for, certain practices where people have more experience and whatever? Absolutely. But we don't look at our organization's fact that, okay, you're a tier 1 guy, you're a tier 2 guy, you're a tier 3 guy. But what's interesting? That came from the guys that were in that industry. And they said, we don't want that here.
Oh, interesting.
And I'm like, okay, well, we need to have an escalation path. So what do we do? So we changed them around. So we have blue team, which is our help desk. We have green team, which is our hardware and onboarding. And then we have a red team, which is all of our engineers and, does security and server deployments and et cetera, et cetera. But just the way that we have our office outlet, I mean, they're all collaborating,
Yeah.
right? When a problem comes into our office, it's an entire office problem,
Yeah.
right? We're all, geared around trying to figure out what it needs to do. And then it doesn't matter who fixes the problem. It's just the fact that we get the problem fixed.
Yeah.
And I think what Horst does is a really good job is instills that team, because he empowers everyone, one, to take ownership of the problem and then figure out what needs to happen to get the problem fixed.
100%. And the other thing I thought was interesting was he was saying, treat your employees like they're your business partners.
Yeah.
Which I think is very noble and respectful. And I think too, he's also trying to show, like, give them the opportunities to have those lessons.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, growth, empowerment, right, in our pillars and whatnot. All right. There's one thing right here is innovation on page 174. Innovation is often squelched in the name of tradition. So let me ask you this. In the interior design, and I'm not familiar with it, obviously, was there like an industry standard that you saw in that profession that you did not bring across to Josephine West?
Oh gosh. Probably not, but I think there are ways to just make it your own.
Okay, such as?
So we have what is called the 4 phases of design. Like, you have schematic design, you have design development, you have construction document phase, and then you have construction administration.
Yep.
So that's like the 4 phases. So the tier design are really highly involved with schematic design and design development. So schematic design, I'm giving like a whole lesson on this, is basically you're figuring out the program of what needs to happen within the space. I'm just going to use office, for example. Like, you need a reception, you need a break room, and whatever. So you do layouts.
Conference room.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, so I really like to have the client be very involved, because, they know their business way more intimately than I do, but I try to listen and learn what their culture, how they like their business, because it does affect how their lines. So, but some people, there's tons of ways of how to do that. You can make it fun. You can make it more hands-on. My position is very unique. Sometimes I don't get the opportunity to do very much schematic design. I wish I would. I need to be more vocal to my architects that I need to be involved, because there's like been some projects that there were definitely missed opportunities.
So is that because of industry standard that needs to be looked at?
Yeah, I think so. And I think architects even forget that we are kind of, I think as designers, we're better program and space layout people. Like, we can maximize the space way better than architects do.
Right.
And but we still have to follow, business code, like not business code, IBC, the International Building Codes.
Right.
We have to make sure egress and stuff, all that. But I feel like we can make it better. But anyways, so design development, I feel like all designers probably have their own unique little recipe, but they're all the same in the same way. I've heard some designers like get a bunch of materiality and like have the client see the big table full of finishes and, textures, tiles, and see what they gravitate towards them. I personally don't like to do that, because it's already overwhelming for my client. That's why they hired me.
Yep.
Like, I try to listen to them and narrow it down and just put 2 different options. Anything more than 2, I just feel like the client gets so overwhelmed easily.
So do you find yourself asking questions to ask questions, or do you ask questions to provide clarity, to provide the best customer experience?
So one thing that I'm noticing that I'm learning through my being an entrepreneur, and, I feel like now that I'm almost 2 years into this, which is crazy, is that I need...
When's the anniversary?
March, like mid-March.
Okay, so March of 2024.
Yeah.
2 years.
2 years. Is that I need to be more descriptive on my process, and not only so my client understands, but then that kind of lays out better of expectations for both parties.
Right.
Yeah, I need to be way better about that, and I'm trying to fix it and make it more easily understand. Because another thing, like I don't like to put it in this way, but this is kind of like the only way I can best describe it, is like I need to hold my client's hand. They don't understand my world, and it's very overwhelming because there's so many decisions and like options to choose from. So I try to really make that very clear and so it's easy. I take most of the burden by doing all these thousands of decisions to make, and trying to make it easy on them.
Right. So no nuances, industry bad habits.
I do have an industry bad habit.
Okay,
and I feel like everybody in my industry does this, and it's a bad habit we all have, is that we hardly ever follow through at the end.
Like, how do you mean? What kind of follow through?
Like project closeout. We need to go back and see how the space is working. One, it's great lessons for us as professionals, but two, you should make sure that the client's still happy a year out. Like, what's working, what still isn't working.
Yeah, feedback is
huge.
Feedback is huge. I thought one of the other powerful things in here is the fact that your customers will tell you everything that you need to know. Mm-hmm. You just have to be listening.
Yes.
Right. And that's kind of one of the things that we deploy here, is the fact that, so one of the things in our industry is contracts, right? So you sign up for an IT support service contract, it's 24, 36 months or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. We don't do contracts here.
You don't?
No.
Oh, wow.
Why don't I do contracts? Well, I don't need to do contracts, because what's the foundation of a relationship? A contract or a trust?
A trust, for sure.
Okay. So what do you hire us to do? You hire us to keep your computers and internet running fast and secure. Mm-hmm. We're all on the same page with that. And so that's what we do every single day. That's it.
Wow.
And if we do that every single day, we build trust. If we build trust with our customers, we build loyalty.
Yeah.
And if I build trust and I build loyalty, I don't need a contract that says that, right? Because the onus is on me to provide you the level of service that you need to do the things that you need to do to run your business.
That's interesting. See, I feel like no matter what, I need to have a contract, because we have a thing called intellectual property.
Yep, fair enough. But contract is, we have sales orders. Mm-hmm. Right. So we have sales orders that stipulate how the arrangement is going to be. But that contract is like every 30 days. Now, if you have intellectual property, right, then you need to, put this stuff in place that obviously that you can safeguard that.
Yeah.
But really at the end of the day, are you really ever going to be able to safeguard it? If someone wants that shit to get out, it's going to get out.
Yeah.
And then the problem is you're going to spend a shit ton of money to go prove and do whatever.
Yeah.
Then if you have to do that, then you have to hire attorneys, and then now you're spending a lot of negative energy on the way to go. And I'm not saying that, do it, but we have the same safeguards, in place. Like you got to pay us, what we said that was on the sales order.
Yeah.
And you have to pay us within, the time frame to get that done, or you incur a late fee, right? I mean, there are ways that we still have to, work together. Mm-hmm. But we're not making you sign, $5,000 a month for 36 months.
Yeah.
We're not doing that.
Yeah.
Right? Because the other thing is the fact that, sometimes customers aren't good fit.
Oh, yeah.
And we don't want to be necessarily tied into, a long-term contract,
no.
With them. So
it's not doing either of you a favor.
No, it's not. So, so that the industry bad habit following through. Okay. So what would Josephine West, what can you do to implement something like that? I mean, would you come visit Smatitech and bring us coffee in 6 months?
Oh, absolutely. Like, seriously, I take relationships seriously with my business, professional business. I mean, there's some
You don't take your personal relationship seriously?
I do.
Of
course I do.
Relationships are serious.
I take a they're like one of my top core values.
Yeah.
Loyalty is one of my core value for my business.
Do you have your core values
I
written
have
down
a crap ton. I know I need to narrow them down, but I love them so much. It's very Josephine West.
Well, finish up this thought and then let's go over them. I'd love to hear them.
So I take my my relationships and professional relationships seriously. I may never have for a small business, I'll probably never have another job with them again, maybe, but no matter what, I still want to keep that relationship because I don't know. You never know what can come out of it. Like anything can happen. So I just try to keep those relationships going.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I have not been doing that I used to do more often because I'm in the kind of the dogfight and we're growing a lot is I used to spend a lot of time just driving down the road, and if I saw a customer, I'd jump in and say hi.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't get to. In fact, when I ran into Weston down the park,
Yeah.
I was like, "Dude, I got to get out of the office and come see you guys." I said, "They don't let me out of the office anymore." Well, it's because I haven't put the stuff in place to get me out of the office, and that's that's on me.
Yeah.
Processes. Mm-hmm. All right, what kind of core values you got down? Do you have a mission statement? Let me ask you that. Are you working on a mission statement?
I'm working on one. And so
hour 20 minutes. This is fantastic.
This is good conversation.
Do you need to stand up and do some jumping jacks, Parrish? Okay.
You need a video cameo sometimes of you too. So I'm just gonna go at my core values real quick. Yep. Loyalty, go the extra mile, be disciplined, accept responsibility, lead by example, relationships.
Yep.
Build positive and fun, always be learning, and staying humble and quality.
Those are all good.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting if you could put those into a couple different categories.
Yeah, I feel like it's very evolving and always forming.
And it should, right? So our core pillars over there. So we have network security, customer service, business productivity, and people, right? And network security was our first one.
Yeah.
And then business productivity, and then customer service, and then people was our fourth one.
Yeah.
People will say, well, why wasn't people the first one? Well, it probably should be pillar number 1, but it's pillar number 4 because it was the journey for me in which we put all that stuff together. So we had the 3, and then we added the 4th, and then we moved one. I think we moved empathy from maybe it was empowerment. We moved one of them around and changed them around, which we did the iteration.
Yeah.
But the thing for me is that those core values, every single one of those guys on the floor know exactly what those are.
Yes. Yep.
And that was one of the things that came out of the book.
Yep. Yes. To really make sure like you're all like rolling together essentially.
Yeah. So you got your core values. Where are you at with your kind of mission statement?
So it's just it's not really a mission statement, but it's, always learning, remember the basics, create well thought design and branding, impacting oneself with all users in mind, and tell a good story. Central concern of the practice is design excellence. Always be designing excellence.
Well, I love the word excellence.
Yes, me too.
Right? I think excellence is different than perfection.
Yes.
Well, you know what? You need to take a photo of that and send it to me.
Okay.
And then I love wordsmithing.
Me too.
I do. That's Parrish. I do a lot of. There isn't a piece of content that comes out of our organizations that I don't touch.
Oh wow.
All of it.
Wow. That's good.
Right. And now I'm competing with AI. Son of a bitch, ChatGPT is like, and all those sales emails that I'm getting, I think I sent this to you yesterday, all AI generated.
I bet.
All AI generated. And I'm like, because I'm starting to see the thought process about how they're scripting these emails.
Yes.
And they're all patterned.
Oh, interesting.
And in the conference room, I've got a stack of 15 emails.
Oh my
and I'm going to do a podcast and go through the emails, because they really don't know me from Boo, but they're really trying to personalize it because they're skimming the website.
Yeah.
And it's very crafty.
I have my thoughts on that.
Well, and
We'll
so
save that for another day.
well, this is why we're doing the podcast.
Yeah.
Because I love video, and I think, these conversations about, our customers and our vendors that we're using that have, similar mindsets
Yeah.
about what we're trying to do to grow our business, creates a lot of authenticity, genuine, thoughts, because really at the end of the day, all of our customers are doing business with me.
Yep.
It's my company. It's my responsibility. And how I get those guys to think out there like I do, they may not come to the same result the same way that I get to, but the goal, the end goal is the same.
Yeah, you guys are all working it.
We're all working together, and that's because of the training that we got from Horst.
Yeah.
Right. What else did you like in the book?
Honestly, everything.
What didn't you like in the book? What was the punch in the face, Catie Buck?
I think, the one thing, it's really hard because I don't have a team yet. So some of the stuff.
Is it just you?
It's just me. I do have contractual help.
Okay.
But like.
Do some of the bookkeeping and organizing or whatever?
She helps mainly do some of the production work, if you will.
Yep.
And, but. I haven't had the opportunity to exercise the skills with the team, and that is going to be really hard for me to do because I'm trying to delegate more because, being a solo, you have to wear all the hats, and I feel so spread thin.
Right.
But to give somebody else your baby and make sure they know it, that's really hard for me to hand it off. And I'm trying to figure out ways how to delegate.
Get those core values and get the mission statement. Mm-hmm. Right? Because the thing about it is that if you outsource it, right, eventually it's going to be insourced.
Yeah.
What's the growth plans for you guys? I mean, how big do you want to get this thing? You think you're going to be a full-blown agency? You like just being, kind of on your own? Or you just...
I definitely want a team.
Oh, you do want a team.
I really want to grow. But I'm literally in the thick of it, trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to need core values.
Yes.
The thing about it is you're also going to need a North Star. Mm-hmm. You're going to need a mission statement because that's your rally cry.
I am reading Traction.
No, you are.
Yeah. Have you read that one? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been super helpful.
Yeah.
That really helped me. But then again, it's at the same time, it's like, well, crap, I don't have a team that I can just take away and collaborate together. It's just me.
Well, yeah, me.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I mean, you're more than happy to come in here, and I'm
I would
dead
love
serious.
That.
Right?
Okay, thank you.
And talk about that stuff. And, the thing for me is the fact that it's not me telling you what to do.
Right.
It's just me asking questions about,
Well,
what
you're
about
more seasoned than I am at entrepreneurship.
Well, I don't know about that. Right.
But you've been at it for a while.
Yeah, I think kind of the interesting thing for me is the fact that we know how we're going to grow.
Okay.
We already know what our company
See,
looks
I don't
like
know.
with another set of pods.
Okay.
Right. And the thing about it is that when you kind of say, okay, what do we look like in 5 years? What do we look like in 10 years?
Yeah.
It's interesting how you start manifesting that stuff because now you've already seen it. And then subconsciously you start putting that stuff into play. It says, okay, so now I need to make that decision to get here. Right. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I'm going through right now is my retirement. So I turned 50.
What?
50. I turned 50 in November.
No, you don't.
Yes. I turned 50 in November.
Oh my gosh.
My game plan is 10 years. Right?
You're going to retire in 10 years.
Yeah. Well, okay. I'm not a retirement kind of guy.
Yeah.
But I know what I want to be doing in 10 years.
Okay.
And so the thing for me is I'm working all of that back.
Yep.
And the thing for me is the fact that, okay, if I know where I want to be in 10 years, then I know what decisions I need to be making right now. Because if I don't know where I need to be in 10 years, then how do I know what decision I'm making, yes or no, is taking me towards that or taking me away from it?
Yeah.
It's kind of like having a mission statement. All these guys know that when they how to answer a phone call or resolve a problem, if it completes the mission, then that's the direction we need to go. If it doesn't complete the mission, then that's not the answer.
Yeah.
It's kind of like this North Star. Now, the thing for me is my 10-year plan is not to sell. Right? My 10-year plan would be, why would I sell when I have the craziest annuity out there?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not selling.
No.
I'm going to put this thing on autopilot.
Yeah.
And so the thing for me is, as soon as I'm got that a little bit more detailed, then I will share that with the team. And then that will become our vision. And the crazy thing is that then those guys know exactly how they're going to fit into the vision. And when they know how they fit into the vision, then they can tailor their lives to be in alignment with what we're trying to do.
Yep.
Because I don't want these guys to leave. All of our blue team guys sitting in the first pod right here understand that they are going to be pod leaders.
That's cool. Yeah.
And so right now, everything that they're doing is to gain enough knowledge. So when we ready to go and we bring in the second pod, that they're in a position that they're going to be leading that pod. Because we can't bring in and hire into that. Mm-mm. Just like what you said, when we bring someone in, you have got to start at the bottom.
Yep.
You have to answer phone calls.
Yeah.
You've just got to be in time of it because it's part of the culture.
Yeah.
So, 50. I said that out loud.
It's okay.
Crazy.
I turn 40 next year.
Yeah, see?
I'm like,
yeah.
I'm not looking forward to it.
Oh, come on. Okay, this has been fantastic.
Yeah.
What else? What else you got going on? Business is good.
Business is good. Now I'm trying to figure out processes and working on experience, and I'm kind of getting to that point where I'm wanting to grow, and it's just what do I need to do? What do I need to do?
Yeah, I think the killer processes equate to scalability.
Yeah.
And if you can't scale, if you don't have a way, that's the thing. What does Josephine West look like in 3 years?
Yeah.
What does Josephine West look in 5 years? And in 5 years, you envision that you're going to have a team of 10 people, right? Then you say, okay, what does the team of 10 people look like? I'm going to need this, and this, right? And then you start working backwards.
Yeah.
And then it starts to become like real, because now you know, okay, so I need to hire this person, and then they're going to be doing these 3 things. And then eventually they're going to be doing this. And then when I hire another person, they're going to be doing these 2 things, right? So you just got to,
It's kind of interesting because I feel like I have huge, like, goals, like big goals. Like, I'm like, holy crap, I don't know how in the hell I'm going to get there.
What's a big goal? Revenue? Team? I mean, define big goal.
My big goal
Yeah.
is I want to be my own client, meaning I would love to be a developer and be my own client.
So you want to get into like developing commercial properties?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Like, that is really big. I have no idea.
Have you said that out loud before?
Not like publicly.
Oh yeah, see, a lot of firsts in here. Well, that's cool. Why be your own client?
Well, first off, I love the developer world. It's very fascinating. I love the fast pace of it, the deals and stuff. I mean, granted, I'm literally on the passenger side and barely looking through the window, but it just seems like it's an exciting world, and the taste of it that I've got through like previous clients like Brighton and Gardner and BVA, it's fun. And
well, you and I, John Warlow, need to go have coffee.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah, I mean, he's been doing development for a long, long time. I mean, he and I went to Boise State together. So Mike Wardle is his dad, right?
Yeah.
He was doing subcontract work for David.
Yep.
When they were doing Harris Ranch.
Yeah.
And they used to have an office out on Broadway.
Yep.
And John and I were at Boise State together. He was an econ major. I was a accounting major. We had common classes, and we used to hang out at Mike's office.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember used to seeing all the boards for Harris Ranch, before it was out there. So
that's crazy.
It's a long time. That was in like early 90s.
Really?
Yeah, a long time.
Harris Ranch.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I first moved out here, it was like a lot of just open land. I mean, there was like the little pockets of it, but most of it was like all ranches still.
Yeah, that was one of Brighton's, David's first project. And then
Wow.
I know David because I coached his son Daniel, his oldest, right, in soccer.
I remember I had a presentation with him, and I was so nervous. And
Daniel?
yeah, Daniel and David,
Yeah.
and I was showing them the design, and Daniel was not sure about the artwork choices, and he was like, "What's so special about them?" And his dad's like, "Well, they were done by elephants, okay?" Like, so I'm like, "There, are you happy? They're special now."
Yeah.
Anyways, I will never forget that moment.
Yeah. Okay, what else?
Anyways,
Core values. I'm going to help you.
Yeah.
You're going to take a picture of that and send it to me. And I'm just
Yes.
going to sit out there, kind of wordsmith.
Yep. I just have basic ideas of mission and like values and stuff.
Yeah, I think Traction is probably a pretty good book for you. The thing for me with Traction, I just create my own. I've read enough, and that's kind of what I like to do. I think the one thing that Traction can kind of suck you into is a lot of KPI. Key performance indicators.
Okay.
And so they're really heavy on values and mission and stuff like that in the beginning.
Yeah.
But towards the end of the book, in some of the workbook that I've went through, it really becomes very technical,
Yeah.
right? And
That's
so,
where I get lost.
yeah. See, the thing for me is business to me isn't twofold. It's a non-technical, which is the most important, and then it's the technical. And what problems is that, in my opinion, most people spend all of their analysis on the technical stuff, market share, profit, shareholder wealth, whatever, and they start making decisions based on those technical things versus making decisions on the non-technical stuff, like what's best for our employees, what's best for our thing. That's where core values come into play, because the thing for me is people will put together core values just to say that they have core values.
Yeah.
That's not what horse,
No.
right?
No.
These are like DNA, right? This is the core.
100%.
There's no way that the Ritz-Carlton becomes what the Ritz-Carlton is had he not had those guys talking about, and every single shift change, how many principles were there?
There's like a lot.
And they went through one every shift. Well, that's what we do. Every Friday we have our operations meeting. Everyone knows what our vision statement is. Everyone knows what the mission statement is. And then everyone gets to pick and talk about a pillar. And not only that, they get to give an example of something that they did during the week that exemplifies the pillar.
That's a really good idea.
And we get to, kind of talk about, all that other stuff.
Yeah. I love that.
Every Friday.
That's awesome.
Right? Every Friday. Now, it doesn't make sense for us to do it in shifts, but that's probably kind of the couple of the big takeaways that we get done here.
Yeah. I love that.
So, well, this has been fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
This is the longest podcast we've ever done.
So many firsts.
And we
here.
still have camera. Shit. See, this is the first. Now we know we can go an hour and 30 minutes. Hour and 40 minutes. Okay.
I say you guys need to work on the lighting.
Okay. That's the feedback that we'll take from that. We're gonna we'll go and kind of show you the rest of the office.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this has been great.
Yeah, thank
Whatever
you.
I can do to help you,
I appreciate that.
Catie Beck, be successful. I'm all about that. I am very intrigued in what I've learned today in this conversation.
Yeah.
Right. Success is not going to be the issue. Right.
No.
You'll be the issue.
Yeah.
And whether or not you're going to allow yourself to be successful.
Yes.
And quite frankly, that's kind of the same case with a lot of us,
Mm-hmm.
right? We are our own speed bumps.
Oh my gosh, that is 100%.
Let all this shit get in our way. Just like get in the way of me, now I have to do jiu-jitsu.
You have to now. I'm gonna make you just. You need to do it.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about getting into it actually too.
Yeah, I just gotta, figure out what gym probably is kind of the biggest thing.
I really like Team Rhino.
Yeah,
I know I might be
have
biased.
I heard good things about that, but I've got a
But
I've got a friend Pedro that's rolling with Gracie, and then Zach's down at the base.
I don't know
the base
about.
is too far away, but
I don't know what their path is, but from what my husband, when he was searching for the right jiu-jitsu gym, like what he liked about Team Rhino is like they actually show you that path of growth of what, like none of the other ones showed that kind of path.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Challenge accepted. Okay, this has been fantastic. What are you reading right now? Traction. Other than Traction, what are you reading?
Traction. I'm gonna read the Business Bible.
Okay, I don't know that one.
Yeah, they're just
Based on scripture?
No, actually, no. It's just like everything you need to know about like business, like legal, like insurance and stuff, like the basics.
Not. That's probably a terrible name. The Business Bible.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, I know.
I would tell you the H3 Leadership by Brad over there. That's a really good Christian-based leadership book. Then one next to it, Lead Like It Matters to God. Really good too.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah. So there's plenty of books. I think the thing for me is, would you read this book again?
Absolutely. This one's definitely going to be kept on the shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've read this thing 3 times.
You did?
Yeah. Well, so I read it once. Then I read it a second time with the team.
Okay.
And that's another thing. We're getting ready to pick our 3rd book. We do 2 books a year. So we're trying to figure out what our kind of winter read is going to be.
Okay. I love it.
There's been some suggestions of the 5 dysfunctions of a team. I think that was recommended. Shez talked about that one. Jeremy had another one that he was recommended. So I've read that one. I haven't read the other one. So.
Oh, right. Read Ed Milet, The Power of One More. That's a good one too.
Yeah, I follow a little bit of Ed.
Yeah.
But I haven't read any of his stuff.
That's a good one, especially when it comes to fitness.
Yeah.
Like, dang it.
Yeah, that dude's a monster.
Yeah.
I didn't say monster. He's a strong
thick
dude. Thick.
He's
is a
thick,
good word.
like strong, thick.
Very strong. Okay. Thank you, Katie Buck. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's been
was
great.
fun.
Yes.
Thank you.